Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is normally Throwback Thursday, but today we're going to be breaking down the top 10 sci-fi horror movies you should be watching this year. So let's jump right into it. Alright everybody, so first up on our list at number 10 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space from 1988. If you're looking for a sci-fi element that's a little bit silly, this one is for you. And not only that, the amazing part of this movie is that it delivers exactly what promised. These killer clowns come from outer space and they choose to kill people in ways that are very over the top and very much clown-like. But the movie has become a cult classic, and rightly so. The movie in all of its campiness is brilliantly done. Comedian Christopher Titus also has his first role in this movie. I believe it's his actual first role ever. And you can look for that. It's a very small blink and you miss it moment, and that's only for people who know exactly who he is. The movie is silly and over the top, but I do highly recommend it. Alright, so coming in at number 9 is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and we're going to be talking about the 1978 movie because that is the one that people mostly think of when they think of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Sure, there are a lot of people who think of the first movie, the classic, the one that it's remade from, but Body Snatchers 1978 delivered like no other. It is the picture-perfect remake movie that actually topped the original and knows what it's trying to do. It sets out to make it so you can't trust anyone in the movie, and that's something that it accomplishes. If you have not seen the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 8 is Bad Taste, a 1987 movie produced, directed, and filmed by none other than Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson. It follows a group of people sent to investigate an incident. This incident turns out to be these big blobby aliens. I don't want to give away too much, but the movie lives up to its name. It is bad taste all the way around. And you will understand sort of why this movie is a cult classic. It's not for everyone, but if you are interested in another one of those kind of comedy horror films, only this one does tend to try to gross you out at times too. So there is that warning there. This movie is probably a little bit gorier and gross than Killer Clowns, but in terms of being a cult classic, you should definitely check this movie out. Coming in at number 7 is another one of those slightly comical movies, and that is Critters. Critters is a 1986 film that follows a group of kind of somewhat cute porcupine type of little aliens who escape from a space prison. They come to Earth looking to terrorize. Some alien bounty hunters come looking for them. While not an outright horror film, this one is considered to be a comedy sci-fi horror film by many, and it also is kind of one of those movies that came out about the same time as Gremlins, aiming to sort of cash in on the cute little things being terrifying genre that Gremlins created for a brief time. The movie does have its moments of comedy. It doesn't have a whole lot of scares, but it is very entertaining. And being that it is on that whole sci-fi comedy line of movies, I do recommend you check it out. Coming in at number 6 is one that I probably would rank a little bit higher, but it's not a very well-known movie, and that is The Signal. So The Signal is a 2007 film where we see this girl cheating on her husband in the beginning. She's getting ready to leave for the day and go about whatever business she's got, when all of a sudden this mysterious signal just happens. And everyone kind of starts to flip out. It turns everyone more or less into homicidal maniacs. The movie is a very nice movie in terms of keeping a modest budget. It doesn't need all the special effects, and there are some moments in the film that are a little bit scary. So I would recommend this film overall. It is one of my personal favorite sort of horror, sci-fi, suspenseful movies, only because of the modest way it handles everything. This just sort of, hello, we're doing this, and it doesn't need to be like all the other movies of its kind, and yet it still is not a very original idea. It's just one that I thoroughly enjoy that I don't think got the attention at the time that it should have gotten. Okay, coming in at number 5 is The Blob from 1988. The Blob tells the story of a meteor crashing and this blobby substance just that has some sort of sentience is going around and killing people, eating everything in sight, essentially. Now, the Blob in itself, this is not an original movie. It actually had an original, and then that original also had a quasi-sequel called The Son of Blob. But these movies are pretty good. The original is a classic. If you haven't seen the original, I recommend you watch that. But with The Blob 1988, it is another one of those horror sequels, or those horror reboots, if you will, done right. It really does deliver where the other one couldn't with the budget the other one had. This one does have a little bit better effects. So if you haven't had the privilege of seeing either of the Blob movies or the quasi-sequel Son of Blob, then I would recommend you go ahead and watch those. But I would also recommend you find this one, The Blob 1988, and try to watch that one as well this Halloween. For sci-fi horror stuff, you can never go wrong with meteorite creatures eating everything in sight. Coming in at number 4 is The Reanimator. The Reanimator is sort of this Frankenstein type of thing, this mad scientist movie. And it has a lot of little comical moments in it, but the main actor, Jeffrey Combs, is so fun to watch. And when he needs to be, he is really terrifying. That's what makes The Reanimator a classic in its own right. The fact that you can watch this movie, have a few laughs, but then it does have some gross out moments, and when he needs to be, he is terrifying. So if you have not seen the Reanimator movie, you definitely need to check that one out too. Which brings us to number 3. And number 3 is Life Force. Life Force from 1985 tells the story of a rescue mission going to rescue a group of American and British astronauts on a joint mission whose ship was left stranded and burned. What they find is that the group had found a naked lady suspended in animation, which they brought onto the ship. She was not what she seemed, obviously, and everything went haywire. This rescue mission then has to put the pieces together before it's too late. And that's the simple explanation for this movie. But the movie is sort of one of those movies that a lot of people think of as a cult classic, which is why I included it on this list. But then I also know a lot of people don't really know this movie exists to begin with. So if you have never seen Life Force and you want sort of this sci-fi horror type of movie, it's out there. And the movie isn't overall all that scary, and there is a lot of nudity in the movie. So I will tell you that outright. It's not a family film by any stretch of the imagination, but it does have its moments where it can shock you a little bit. So go ahead and check that one out as well. Coming in at number 2, we have 1997's Event Horizon. And this movie is just strange. This movie is a little bit haunted house in space. It delivers on the terror every which way you can imagine. The movie is very scary in itself. It is one of the best space science fiction horror movies out there. It takes place in 2047 when a distress signal is received from the Event Horizon, a starship that disappeared during its maiden voyage. The rescue party comes along having no idea what they're about to get into. They are eventually joined by the man who designed the ship, and that is where everything goes completely haywire. It is a haunted house movie in every sense of the word, and you could do a lot worse than to watch this movie, which is why it's on our list. Coming in at number 1 is Alien 1979. How popular is Alien 1979? You could Google search Alien and you come up with the aliens that are in this movie over every other type of alien that's out there. And rightly so. The movie is an absolute classic with a great cast and a wonderful final girl played by Sigourney Weaver. And that is exactly what she is in this movie, is a final girl in every sense of the word, being stalked by these aliens who are searching out and killing everybody aboard the ship. It is a very good, horrific little sci-fi horror movie, and it has definitely earned its spot at the top of our list. So that's all the movies on this list, and let me know what you guys think. Are there any you think I missed? Leave a comment below. We want to hear from you. As always, everybody, we want to know what you guys think. Make sure you leave us a comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Make sure you share this video with all your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button as hard as you can. It's free. It helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers. And look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, remember, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.